What someone else thinks about me is none of my business, because the thoughts that they are thinking have to do with where they are on the emotional scale, what their belief systems are, and none of that has anything to do with me. Someone else's opinion about me does not make me who I am. It should have zero effect on me. What someone thinks of me is none of my business, or anything else. Just because someone else doesn't like something that's going on in the world doesn't mean that I have to join them. I don't have to join them. I am my own individual with my own belief systems, my own desires, and I know that joining someone who is low on the emotional scale does not serve me. But if someone is high on the emotional scale and they are paying me a compliment, I'm going to join them. I'm going to join them in appreciating myself. So I am going to join appreciators. I am not going to join depreciators. Because when appreciators join together, they make appreciation bigger. That's what happens in a meditation group, because when everyone comes together to meditate, we are raising the vibration of everyone who is present. This is why people gravitate to those people who have a higher vibration. That person who is lighthearted, who is making fun, who is joking around, everyone surrounds that person. Because that person makes other people feel good. People naturally gravitate towards that person. And that's who you want to be. You want to be that person who helps other people look at things differently from a place higher on the emotional scale. And if someone is being negative, not my business. I'm not going to make it my business. So this is a self-worth thing. When someone, like in the past, if somebody gave me a compliment, I would say, oh no, that's nothing. No, that's no big deal. No, don't shine a flashlight, a limelight on me. No, it's not important. It's not important. And then I learned slowly to flip that around, and it was that way because that's what my parents had taught me. Be humble, and boasting and appreciating yourself was a negative thing. And then I had to, in order to gain self-worth, I had to flip that over. I had to flip it over, and I had to say, no. If somebody is appreciating me, I'm going to join them in that appreciation of me. And I am going to appreciate them for appreciating me. I don't have to return the compliment, but I can have true appreciation for that person. For I am appreciating the fact that that person took the time to appreciate me, because they could have done anything else with that time. But they took the time to appreciate me. They took the time to say something nice about me. And I'm going to agree with them. Yes, I'm a wonderful person. Thank you for that compliment. Thank you for the acknowledgement. It means a lot to me. Join them. Don't shy away from that. Stand in the center of it and own it every inch of the way. So, what someone thinks of me is none of my business if they are being negative. What someone thinks of me when they are being positive, ooh la la, I am right there. I am joining them. I am milking it. I'm going to remember that. I'm going to save that. I'm going to write it in my journal. If it's written something, I'm going to take a snapshot of it. I'm going to save it. And on those days when I'm feeling like I'm worthless, I'm going to remember that. It's going to become one of my anchor thoughts. Right? Yes, Claudia. We choose. We have the power to choose. We have the power to decide. In the past, what used to happen to me? If someone said, and predominantly it was my mother, if someone said, "You're no good at that," I would say, "Yes, you're right. I'm no good at it." You must be right. And then a big event happened in my life when I was 10 years old, 9 years old. A big event happened in my life that helped me change that. And I still remember what happened. The convent school where I went, I was in grade 6. Yes, I was in class 6. And they refused to promote me to grade 7 at the end of the year. They said I wasn't ready. All hell broke loose. My parents, it was like the end of the world. This cannot be happening to their daughter. It just cannot be happening to their daughter. They almost disowned me, threw me out of the house. My mother, who was the top student forever and was so proud of her intelligence, wanted to put me in the trash. They were so disappointed with me, and I took that on. I went down the emotional scale like nobody's business. And the most wonderful thing that happened, so they went to the school, they begged and borrowed. They begged. They tried their hardest to get the school to change the decision that the school had made. They took me along for those meetings, made me feel so miserable that I would cry. And I know now that they were doing that on purpose. They wanted me to cry because they wanted the teachers to feel sorry for me. But the teachers, thank heaven, they did not give in. They behaved like source. Don't have the vibration? You're not getting it. And so I was detained in grade 6. And I remember saying in my head, at first I was, I was decimated. Nothing was left. And I was ashamed, and it hurt so bad. And on top of that, to make matters worse, my mother said, "Don't tell anyone about this. Don't tell your uncles, your cousins, you're not supposed to say anything to anyone." Well, that was a slap in the face. That was more than a slap in the face. And then I said, when I went back to school after the summer holidays, I was in the same class with the same teacher. And that teacher, I will never forget her, because she was the only person who gave me confidence. She was the only person who became unconditional towards me and encouraged me and told me that I was going to do it. The attitude was so different. The vibration was so different. At home, the vibration was, "You better do it. You dare not fail again." And at school, with this teacher, the vibration was, "You can do it. You have it in you. You have just not been trying, but you are better than so many other people. You are intelligent. You can do it." So I was getting two really different messages, one from home and one from school. And I, thank God, gravitated to the one at school, even though she hardly ever spoke to me. But she was speaking to me through her vibration. And I worked hard, not for my parents, I worked hard for her. And at the the mid-year, because we had a whole one academic year system, not a semester system. So mid-year results, I was at the top of the class. Not at the top of the class, we had a ranking. So we would, there were 60 girls in the class, and you would rank the first 10. I was among the first 10 in the class, but I was not the first. And I was so happy with myself. I was excited. I knew I had done well even before I had received my results. And so my parents came to the school to receive the report card. And my mother said to me, "This is all you could manage? You should have been the first. You should have been at the top of the class. You're doing this again." She didn't congratulate me. She wasn't happy. She slapped me. And that was the day when transformation happened. That was the day when I didn't say anything to her, but in my head was a huge, loud, screaming voice that said, "You have no idea who I am. And I am no longer listening to you. I know who I am, and I'm going to show you." And transformation happened like that. So, had I taken her opinion, I chose whose opinion was the true opinion of me. And I said, "She doesn't know who I am, and I'm going to show her." And I took, even though that teacher never said anything to me with words. The only words she wrote in my autograph book, I asked her for her autograph. The only thing she wrote in my autograph book was, "Failures are the pillars of success." She wrote that in my autograph book. And I asked her, "What does this mean?" Because I didn't understand it. "What does this mean?" And she said, "You'll see. You can be more successful now than anyone else you know." And I accepted that. So you see, you decide what you want to buy into. Even at 9 years old, I made that decision not to buy into. And my mother was a very powerful personality. She was overpowering. I decided not to accept her opinion of me because it was coming from a negative place. And I decided I was going to accept the opinion of me that this teacher offered, even though my mother spoke to me every day and this teacher only spoke to me once in a while. And everyone has the capacity to make that decision. And I showed them. I showed them all. That day the switch flipped. And from that day onwards, nobody could hold me back. Everything I touched, I was successful with. I was always, from that day forward, top of the class. I was in fact and I wasn't working hard. It was coming to me easy. In fact, it was coming to me so easy, and I flipped the switch with so much force that we had provincial rankings, and in my school board, I achieved, when I finished my secondary school, I achieved the first rank in the province, in the board. That's how the switch flipped, and then it was easy. It was easy because I got lined up, because I changed my self-worth. I decided that I was not stupid. I was, in fact, very smart, and I was going to show them all how smart I was. So, anyway, that's the story for today, and I'm standing by it. And I can tell you that anyone can do that. You can be a duck or you can be a sponge. That's where it comes from. A duck just brushes it off and goes on her merry way. A sponge takes it all in and sinks to the bottom of the pond. Be a duck. Be a duck. All right, guys. That's right, Karen. I was at the top of the class for me. I was doing it for me. Damn proud I was of myself too. And that record continued all the way into my MBA, where I was Dean Scholar in my MBA class. Got a big medal from the President of Pakistan. Yep. So you see, don't accept what other people think of you. They do not know who you are.